Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am Lauren Khalil with Morning Chalk Up, and we have a special episode learning about everything we need to know about the recent CAP program, what's happened this past year, and what we can be looking forward to. We have Gary Gaines, the General Manager of Global Affairs and International at CrossFit, Daniel Chafee, he's the Director of Operations at Gym International, and Austin Meliello, he is the Director of North America Gym Operations, and he also helped create the CrossFit Affiliates program. How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Great. How are you? I'm Global Affiliates, not affairs. We don't want
Global Affiliates.
Yeah, we don't want to pigeon me. I know nothing about global affairs. I know a lot about global affiliates.
Two very different things.
Yeah.
Local affairs or global affairs, very different things.
Right.
So how's everybody been? I see Daniel has his holiday tree in the back, the Christmas tree.
Done and dusted,
right?
Yep, it is indeed. That was my son's handiwork. I had nothing to do with that.
I was going to say that looks a little bit too creative for Daniel.
Yeah.
Got to get help with the kids, right?
That's right.
That's right.
So let's kick it off talking about the affiliates program. We started hearing about it over the summer before the CrossFit Games. It kicked off in July. What does the success look like so far? I know right in the first 24 hours, I mean, there was nearly 1,800 people who reached out and were interested in something like this. What have you guys seen in the past couple of months with the success rate?
Yeah, I'll try and answer that, and obviously I'll lean on Austin for greater detail. I think take a step back, and 12 months ago, as a team, we came together and tried to define what success looked like in our department, and ultimately created our guiding principle that it's to support and resource the affiliates in the community. Right, we are in service of them. It is our goal to be an unquestioned business partner. Right, when they need something to operationalize and run their gym efficiently, they can lean on home office to provide tools and resources to help them achieve that. And when you looked at the areas of opportunity, programming was one of those. We know that it's a highly saturated marketplace with a lot of third-party competitors that have done a really, really nice job filling that void. But we have incredible coaches, incredible, obviously coaching development tools, and quite honestly, feel like we have the best in the business in the corporation that created the methodology. So it was a no-brainer for us to sit down as a team and develop what we feel is a very, very powerful way to develop coaches and ultimately run your gym in terms of programming. So, what started out as a whiteboard discussion eventually turned into CrossFit affiliate programming. It's led by Alyssa Shower. She sits on the gym team. And, Austin, obviously having a background in programming, and I'm kind of sporting the vintage hand shirt. Yeah, strategically, has played a major role in its development. And we were trying to reverse engineer the pain points and problems within the affiliate and create a resource that helped them navigate those challenges. And we think we did that. So you spoke to it earlier. The demand and excitement around the announcement were incredibly high. Was incredibly high. And we had about 1,800 affiliates over the course of 3 days that have signed up and committed to test trying it. We then obviously continued to enhance it. We got feedback from the community and got to a point where we feel really, really good about the product that we're going to take to the market in January. It'll be a paid product after a few months of it being free to the people that wanted to trial. So to your question, how many people are using it and how many people have, let me move over. How many people have tried it? I think we're well over 4,000 right now, active users. We know that close to 2,000 of those active users are using that on a regular basis. And so we're trying to use that information to model and figure out how many people we think will transition to when it becomes a paid product in January. Austin, what I missed?
I mean, as per usual, you did really well summarizing it, and I think one of the biggest driving forces behind programming is, for myself, who have working on seminar staff for 10 years and being, and putting many people through their level ones and level twos, programming is always the topic of conversation, whether it's in, what programming should I do? How do I program? How do I implement this at our gym? When there's a coaching development conversation, it always goes back to programming. What are the workouts that we're doing? So it's really becomes it's the centerpiece of what happens at a gym. And so I think it is really important when we think about I always think about where CrossFit started, right? CrossFit.com. Like when I went to CrossFit.com, it was to find a workout. And back, 10 plus years ago, that was where we found workouts. There was not as many affiliates back then, and most of us, our first experience was through .com. And so now being able to have all of our affiliates around the world, many people's first experience of CrossFit is at an affiliate, which is awesome. So being able to influence and support our affiliate owners, and then the staff, and in turn the members walking in the door, something that really is true to what we've always done. And it's just an evolution of our growth of affiliates and our coaches.
And I don't know if Daniel has his audio back, but I think it's really important that we mention the influence that him and his team has in creating a global product. We know that, in the past, whether or not we have developed things that work or are catered towards the culture that we're doing business in, hasn't always been the case. But we have a conscious effort on making sure we're taking those communities into consideration. So programming, as we know it in the United States, may be different in Italy, France, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. And so Daniel and his team are really close and involved in its development to make sure that product really reflects the needs of the local community. From a programming standpoint, we'll have kilograms as an option over the next few weeks. And so we're really, really excited about that. And to be honest with you, the support that we get from the senior levels and Eric on making sure that this is localized, right? So somebody in Brazil looks at this product and it feels authentic to what they do in the gym every day. And I can confidently say that CAP checks that box.
Well, if I may, also the numbers are the proof in the pudding. Even without having CAP translated, it's presented in such a way that, so I have 3 head coaches, for example, one in each box. 2 of them don't speak English, but they're the 2 that actually use CAP the most out of the 3. The third really loves programming. He's passionate about his own programming and testing it and having the box as his lab and whatnot. But the other 2 that are the least Anglophone of the 3, it's presented in such a simple way that even with the language barrier, it's a huge asset for them, that for me is proof of the pudding. And Austin really designed it with his team, with how much time can you save a box owner. We had our first discussion. We were talking about when I opened my box, and I was the only coach in my box. So like a lot of box owners. And it's like, how many hours a week did I spend on programming? How many hours a week did I spend going, oh my God, how do I do the floor layout? Scaling options, what progressions should I do? Should I do an after party or shouldn't I? Should I put in some accessory work or not? I spent a lot of emotional time and bandwidth on programming when I really didn't have any to spare. And so for small box owners, this is a really big asset. But then for even bigger ones now, I've got a team of 47 people. It's a huge win, because it means my head coaches can spend more time upskilling their teams and being customer facing than sitting behind a bloody computer, which is not what we want our teams to be doing. So this was a really big win, and it was something that was unthinkable a year and a half ago, and then it became thinkable. And then it became a project, and now it's already in place. So it's hats off to you, Austin, and the team.
The last thing I'll say, Lauren, is we don't have all the answers, and I think humility, particularly on the gym team, is a big part of how we approach these things. And so feedback from the community will dictate what this product looks and feels like. And so if any of the affiliates are listening that have participated in CAP and will transition to the paid product, be vocal, right? Be very, very candid with your feedback. because we'll take it and we'll make it better. And that's okay, to get involved and help craft what it should feel like in the affiliate, because we're not in the affiliates, right? And so we want to be very, very clear, and that feedback is welcome and appreciated.
As the team was developing CAP, and you're looking at all of the other recognizable gyms that have something similar when it comes to offering programming to other gyms, how did your team develop what we have now is the affiliates program, and looking for it to stand out amongst some of those other gyms that maybe people or gym owners have already been using for their programming?
Yeah, so we had a template, right? Because of the acquisition of Handplan, their MPS scores were through the roof. Feedback from the users was incredible. So, we took what they created and built on it. And Nicole Carroll, my peer that oversees education and training, played a major role in helping make what it is today. Nicole is well known in the space, or as known as much as anybody in the space. And just to have her experience and her passion for coaching development involved got us to where we are, transparently. And Austin spent hours upon hours going through every single detail, making sure that we didn't skip any potential issue. We tried to foresee the problems that would come out of it. We did a lot of competitive analysis, and I say competitive, but I mean this sincerely. We want all of the other programmers to be extremely successful. There's enough room in this ecosystem for all of us to thrive, and so we tried to break down what they offered and see if that was authentic to what we wanted to provide. And so after all of that analysis and scoping, this product spit out, and it's changed since we went to market with it, right? And that's part of the reason why we said, listen, let's absorb the expense to operationalize this, and let's give this to the community so they can test and give feedback, and we can be really, really confident that in January, when we bring this to the market as a product, that the community helped develop it. And so that's happened. I mean, we send survey after survey trying to identify where we're missing, what blind spots we have. And so that's been really, really fun process. Austin, he can speak to the meetings because he was in many more than I was. So
his schedule was booked.
His schedule was booked. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to the point of, I think our goal, we go back to, and Daniel alluded to this in the beginning of, our goal is to support our affiliate owners and the coaches in our gyms. And if that is our guiding light, that's what guides us when we create really any tool or resource that we deliver, and specifically CAP, because when we think, a workout is great, but it's useless unless it's implemented correctly. In order to implement something correctly, that's education, that is understanding, and that's a tall order when you have a vast type of gyms with all different skill levels, from fresh out of your level 1 to 10 years. How do you add value to that spectrum of coaches? And that's really important, and that's what makes our gym so unique and special. I think about when I first started coaching at a gym, up in Syracuse, and it was my first gym. It was at CrossFit DeWitt, actually. Yeah, and I'll never forget that feeling of being just petrified, just so, and writing notes and just nervous to how am I going to introduce this class? What am I going to say? Where am I, like, all these things, and then to 10 years down the line, now I'm, the capacity to really think about how am I going to teach someone a butterfly chest to bar pull up, right next to someone that is just learning how to grip a pull up bar, and then trying to distill that into a class plan so it is palatable for our newer coaches, yet also adding value to our veteran experienced coaches. And that's really what we take aim at in the day-to-day programming. So, which has really been helpful for the feedback from our community, because we get the different lenses of feedback that they're reading the programming through. So it's been fun, and it's one of those things that it's never ending. the evolution. But that's the beauty of CrossFit, where if you look at, CrossFit from the past just 10 or 15 years, it's evolved a lot from our methodology and foundations there. But we've always learned and gotten better, because that's what we do. We learn, grow, and improve.
And if I can add to that, part of the process as well, which I think is really great, is over the years, you said it earlier, Austin, when we all kicked off CrossFitting, the only place to find a workout was on CrossFit.com. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, you open a box, and then boxes start doing their own programming and and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, one of the things about CrossFit.com was, well, yeah, that workout looks really good. It's great if I'm doing it in my garage, but how would I coach that to a class? It's like, my God, there's rope climbs. I've only got one rope. What would I do? And so on and so forth. And I've got beginners. They would never be able to do that. Never be able to do RX, because you all know that, on CrossFit.com, it was like literally the workout was RX. There was nothing about scaling. It was just like post score to comments, and that was it, right? Or post time to comments, or whatever it was, yeah. Post number of reps or post weight, and that was it. And so this is the answer to that question of how do you take what was CrossFit.com programming and apply it to a classroom format. It's in CAP. And so by giving that on a daily basis, you're actually drip feeding education to coaches as well. It's an amazing process. If someone's done the scaling course, they've done the programming course from CrossFit, from the education department, this is those courses applied on a daily basis. And it's that in action. So it's a really enriching process. So actually, I get my cap every week and I actually read it, and it keeps me fresh, because I'm not coaching anymore. I'm far younger, better coaches than me out there now. And actually just being involved in reading cap keeps me fresh, and it keeps my finger on the pulse. So it's a really good tool. And I'm not saying that because I work for CrossFit. I'm saying it as a box owner. It's a really, really good tool.
And I think that's the unique thing, or the thing that makes this team putting together the CAP program, is that, you are all in the thick of what's new, what's fresh, how can we keep evolving CrossFit and stay current to get more members to sign up and stick with CrossFit for longer. But now moving into the new year, once it hits the market, gyms start paying that fee. Have you seen, are you able to see how many gyms have decided to continue with it, or what are some of the numbers that you're seeing as you transition to charging gyms?
Yeah, it's not something we've done before, right? So the analytics that we have are the ones that are helping us guide and model what the next year looks like. In terms of what we think will transition to the paid product, we'll keep that tight. But we've taken a number of different inputs and spent out a number that we're super confident in, and that's based on usage, downloads, and what individuals are viewing the product. We also have a really cool feature where coaches have access to it, whereas before, and that was based on feedback from the community. And so we see those downloads. But we're confident that number will be in a really, really healthy place. Will it be all 4,500? No, I'll confidently tell you that. But we should see around half of those transition to the paid product. So we're really excited about it. And I think you said it best, Lauren. When I developed this team, I came in and there were a single-digit number of employees that were supporting gyms. And a majority, I should say single-digit in affiliate support, which handles our inbound requests from our affiliates, and did an incredible job handling those requests, but also had 6 country managers that were the face of CrossFit within their communities. Daniel was actually the first country manager hired, overseeing France. And now we're a team of about 75, which is incredible. Over the course of 12 months, I blacked out, but I kind of open my eyes right now, and I'm really proud about the team we have. You mentioned it. Every single one of those individuals on our team is passionate about CrossFit, whether it's impacted us personally or professionally. A majority of my leaders are or have been affiliate owners. And so it was strategic on my part. I've never owned an affiliate. I've never coached a class. I understand business. My experience has given me the tools to understand where the opportunities are, how to manage a P&L, how to model, forecast, all of those things. But I don't know what it's like to run out of supplies. I don't know what it's like to open your gym at 4 a.m. and replace the toilet paper in the bathroom. I don't know what it's like mopping your floors and having that be that your livelihood. These two do. And so they keep me honest when I have a conversation about what I think is possible in terms of a product like CAP. And they're very honest. And you can tell our relationship is a really good one. But I've got a team of about 8 direct reports, and our conversations are fascinating because we may not agree on a number of things, but we hang up the phone and we're aligned. And that's what you see here. This product, there's been a lot of back and forth on what we think the community wants and needs, and conversations and discussion has gotten tense at times. But when we hang up those phones, I mean, we're all working remote now, given the current climate. We're aligned as a unit, and we're super proud about what we have. But it's because of the experience, the diverse experience of the team that helped develop it.
And speaking of, the current climate, where obviously certain parts of the world, many parts of the world are still dealing with the pandemic. I think about, the programming even at my own CrossFit gym. And sometimes you have classes that still maybe only have 5 to 8 people because certain people don't feel comfortable coming yet. But then you have other classes that are starting to grow. You're seeing that 20, 25 group class feeling more comfortable at the gym. How do you take that into consideration when you're thinking of programming and the amount of equipment for classes as they start to grow as the world opens up?
Yeah, I'll let Austin take that because that's been something he's really focused on.
Yeah, it's if there's a few things that we've learned and that we'll probably never forget is starting all the way with, when we were remote and what that looked like, and providing those types of resources such as limited equipment or at home versions. So like, for example, with CAP, we have a full at home program that was born from 2 years ago now, which seems wild to think about, but and to support our affiliates, and we've grown that program to become as robust as the affiliate program to be programmed alongside, because like you said, Lauren, there are still people that are still nervous about coming back to the gym, or starting back to travel again, depending on where we're at, and so and all of which want the same thing, still want to stay consistent and work out. And then fast forward that to seeing our classes back with 20 people and what that looks like. And Daniel spoke to this a little bit of how do we create, because equipment and logistics, and something that is also palatable for our affiliates, because you might have some unique equipment that you want to leverage or things of that nature. So when we think about writing class plans, there's the workout, which is a very small portion, ironically enough, and then there's all of the how-tos and the whats, the whys, the whens, the wheres, and almost thought starters too, where think about this. And because what we want to encourage our coaches and affiliate owners to utilize this as the springboard to create their own class plan, or tweak or change or scale a little differently, because we don't want to tell you exactly what to do. We want to essentially give you a nice here are the tools, but then you can build whatever you would like with those tools. Now, it's nice to have something to start, and there are days where sometimes you just want to press play, and there are some days where you want to completely throw it all out and make your own, and that's important in that process. So from partner workouts and team variations to logistical considerations, and the CAP content team every day, for example, has a video breakdown of the whole class plan. And what's cool about that is it allows us to dig deeper. So beyond the words of here's what I'm thinking, just like you said, if this is a big class, some things to think about or consider in that rollout, or if when you're coaching your 5 a.m., you might want to warm them up a little differently than your 5 p.m. Today, because we know that population is different, and we might need to do a couple more arm circles at 5 a.m. and then 5 o'clock people are running in late from the traffic, but they're pretty hot. So just those types of things we're able to deliver because we've been there. And our team of affiliate owners and coaches, and and I would say that we're probably our hardest critic, where we're looking at this stuff and we're saying, oh, this could have been better, let's tighten this up, tweak this up. And it's and for me, I personally still do every one of the workouts. And, you know, the biggest thing that I've learned from doing the programming is it is still really nice to do workouts that you're told to do. And what I mean by that is it's just, I'm not programming right now personally. We have, James Hobart and his team are really in charge of what that actual architecture looks like. And there are days where I'm just like, I would have never have done this workout. Would have never have done it.
I know that feeling.
So sometimes when we get that feedback from affiliate owners of like, hey, I don't like this workout. I'm like, man, I feel that way once or twice a week too, that I hate this workout, but did it. And, either I liked it or I didn't, but like there's a beauty to that. And there's a little nitty gritty to it, right? Where that's what it used to be like when you first saw a 5K run on CrossFit.com. That's when you refreshed for 24 hours until the next workout showed up, right? I mean, that's just what we did, so it's nice to bring that back a little bit.
Yeah, and with having somebody do the program for you, you're never going to program the things that you really don't want to do. Like if I was programming for myself, I would never, ever run. It just never would happen. But if somebody tells me to run because it's in the programming, I'm going to run and I'm going to suck it up. And then I'm going to lay on the ground with the class when I'm done.
Exactly.
And that's also true for some of the best coaches as well, right? Even though they'll think, oh yeah, no, I'm good at the variance piece, and I'm good at making sure that I've covered all the bases. When you look at several cycles of training, invariably there's certain things you're avoiding, and not necessarily through lack of equipment. It's just you get into habits. Sometimes you fall, all of a sudden you're using dumbbells more than you should be, or you haven't used simple gym movements. It's like there's always some sort of weakness in programming in most boxes. I'll never say every box because there'll always be an exception that will prove me wrong. But in most boxes, there's always that sort of weakness. And so by having CAP delivered to us by people that are games athletes, seminar staff, box owners, that magic triangle, and people that will take the time to methodically analyze the last few cycles before programming the next, we are actually staying as true as we can to the core methodology of CrossFit. And for me, that's a really big value in CAP.
Daniel,
I'm not even going
to. Sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
I'm not even going to get into what I would program. Daniel and Austin know what I would program if I was running.
Give us, Gary. I want to hear what your ultimate workout would be if you were programming.
No, so
Gary would get on a treadmill. He'd sprint 400 meters, jump off, grab a pair of dumbbells, do bicep cleans. They're not cleans. They're bicep cleans. And he would
muscle
wear
cleans.
He would wear knee sleeves. No, they're bicep cleans. Literally like hammer curls, and then up onto his shoulder. And then he would wear knee sleeves and a weight belt, and that's about it. And then he'd go and eat scrambled eggs for breakfast. That's Gary's workout.
Listen, we travel quite a bit together, and I'll sneak away and I'll put my own twist to a workout, and then I'll come back, and they're just so disappointed because they know that I did, and then we'll go and do a walk. But it's they're teaching me. Mm-hmm. I would, I'll row all day long, but you put a barbell and ask me to go below parallel, and I may have a meeting that I've got.
I did 12 straight days with Gary. We did 19 workouts in 12 days, and I had bicep tendonitis in both arms.
Yeah. Oh no!
It's like seriously.
Yeah. We did Lauren an 11-day 6-country tour with myself, Eric, and the new president, Jason Dunlop. And their affiliates' way of welcoming you is like, you got to do a workout, right? And so we would go to.
You got to do them all.
Yeah, and you can't say no. Right. We're coming from home office.
No.
And man, that end of that trip, I was like, I got to take a few days. It was long.
On the last leg of the trip, we get to Frankfurt, right? And the box owner was super pumped to have us. He goes, I've prepared this awesome workout in the garden. And he had just a ton of equipment out there. He was going to throw the kitchen sink at us, thinking, these guys come from HQ. They're going to be the fittest people we've ever seen. And we get there, and I'm half broken from 19 workouts in 12 days. I'm 50 years old, right? I'm absolutely breaking me. And I take him aside. I say, listen, just, how many rounds? It's like, just out of, it's like, seriously, we had this morning, and then we did this last night, and then there was a 1 rep max back squat yesterday, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, do you think that I felt really bad asking him, but I said, do you think you could tone it down a bit? And then he takes us out onto the field with all these affiliates, and the workout lasted 45 seconds. I felt so bad.
And I was after. I was like, man, that was hard. Wow.
Was that okay? I said, maybe you scaled it down a bit.
So good.
Too much.
Yeah.
So you think that the affiliates, they change what the workout is going to be when they know you guys are coming?
Absolutely.
Without question.
They want to crush us. They want to crush you. And then when they see Gary sliding on his knee sleeves, they think it's game on. They're like wiping out the whiteboard. Yeah. They're adding an extra 25, an extra plate on the bars.
It's a good thing we had media coverage, because Daniel, he's a no-repper, so although we didn't see it, when we're going through and looking at the footage, we caught it. It's good thing we don't have audio for
yeah, we lost your audio.
We can't hear what he's saying to try to rebuttal his.
Maybe we should. Yeah,
I would say, I just pace myself. I'm consistent. I'm steady. I'm not like a fight. Gary goes out the blocks like this, and he goes like, fizzles, and then you see
full send.
Yeah, who's that guy like rolling around on the floor over there with knees?
I'm a good roller. Yeah.
That's right.
The floppy fish at the end of the workout.
Yeah.
You can edit that part out, right? Or this the last 2 minutes. Is that right? You can.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave it in. I think that people want to hear it.
That's the good stuff.
Right. That's the meat that we want in the show. So back to Cap. When you look at the things that we want in 2020, and as the program keeps growing, I know, Daniel, you touched on that you make it inclusive for not just people in certain countries, but all countries, because we know that affiliates looking at this are worldwide. When is the trajectory to have it offered in other languages? Is that a topic that you guys have been talking about, looking at 2022?
Yeah, I'll take lead on it. It's actually it's a discussion that's been happening for a very long time. Translation has been the bugbear for international development for a very long time. But it's also something that has to be very methodical, and we have to get it right. And there are a lot of steps to doing it right. Now, CAP is a great tool, but it's one tool amongst many. And I think if we go to CAP first to translate, we won't do it justice, because I think we have to wait for more feedback, and the product is always improving. Austin takes he takes it on the chin every morning, every week, and he's refining it and making it better. So when we do go and translate it, and we throw the resources at it to translate it, because there's a huge amount of content. So you can't just have someone half-assing this and doing it part-time. It will need full-time translators doing just CAP. And then because it's not just doing CAP, it's also answering the questions from the community and the box owners, and there's interaction to it. And so it's not just a passive, throw it out there, and then there's, and it sticks. You have to make it live as well. So we want to get that right. So we'll be patient in that. But there are certain other things to translate before we get to CAP, which include basic things on the website. So, for example, we were talking to Liang in China yesterday, and we're looking at certain obstacles to the development of CrossFit in China. And they may seem very basic. It's like, well, why don't you just do it? Well, because there's a firewall, because there's legislation, because there's a huge amount of info. What goes first? Someone's interested in a course, they end up on the US page. So a Chinese person in Chengdu, not speaking any English, has to find someone to translate, and then they have to find a credit card. And in China, people don't have credit cards. So there are other barriers to international development at the moment, other than the translation of CAP. So CAP's on the radar, but for me, as the international director at the moment, it's not the number one priority to translate it. So I'll be very honest, and that's my fault. We have to prioritize and get things right. So it will come. We'll get those resources, but when the time is right.
Well said. And in terms of prioritizing, Daniel's done a really good job of not and being objective in what we need to prioritize, because the exciting product would be CAP, right? And that's the easy thing to translate, and it will be translated. We did spend a lot of capital on translating our playbook to Portuguese. Brazil, as may know, is a top 5 market, traditionally our second largest. But with the current climate, it's taken a dip back. But our playbook, which is a guide and a consolidation of best practices from the top operating affiliates in the globe, in kind of one manual has been translated in parallel with the launch of the English version, which, if you ask, you'd be hard pressed to find a lot of products that we've produced that have been translated in parallel with an English version. And it was very, very important that we show the community that we're committed to localization. And so that has been launched in Portuguese. We're super proud about it. But as we scope out our product roadmap, translation is a major topic when we do that. Payment platforms, as Daniel mentioned, and not being able to play with local currency is also a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some work in 2022 that will unlock the ability to pay in local currency. And what's really cool is that it's small stuff. I mean, the scale of the work is large, but once we start knocking these out, we make it very easy to become an affiliate and operate. And if we can provide resources to help you do that profitably quicker, the upside here is tremendous. And so CAP is just one of many things that we need to look at.
And we know that the desire to have CAP translated is there, but we're kind of like doing a how do you say putting a temporary fix with the teams on the ground. So we have a wonderful guy called Hardy, who's our Arabic boots on the ground. Anyone who wants CAP who doesn't understand it in English or who may understand 90% but has some doubts, he'll just reach out to Hardy and say, hey, on the second page paragraph here, what does that mean? And so we're filling the gap at the moment. It's not ideal, but anyone that wants CAP, whether it's in Polish, Russian, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, I'd even say Australian because they don't speak proper English down there. They can reach out. They can reach out to the country manager teams on any details, and that's what they're doing on a daily basis at the moment.
I think that's an important point, Daniel. Daniel's done an incredible job building a team that provides coverage to 100% of the market outside of the U.S. And they have a face that they know. They have a name that reaches out to them, that builds relationship. There are some smaller markets that we had to share ownership of, but there is coverage, field coverage for every single affiliate outside of the U.S., which is incredibly powerful. Answer questions about products that we have coming out, help with translation. So any of our newsletters that we distribute from home office are now translated. The email of the day, a lot of these markets have their own social channels that are translated, and in some cases more popular than the CrossFit affiliate handle here domestically. And it's all because of the work that Daniel and his team has done.
And I think making the sport and these resources accessible to the broader picture and scope of CrossFit is just one thing that we have really seen a change in the community over the past year or so with the new leadership. What are some of the other things that your team is working on to make the program more inclusive?
Yeah, we've got a few products in the suite, if you will, that we're incredibly proud of. Not in order, but trying to stay true to when it was when they were brought to market. Roundtables is one that I think everybody has really, really received well. That's led by Danielle Hale, who's a senior manager of community engagement on my team. Roundtables is an intimate group that meets bi-weekly for a period of 6 months. There's a moderator that leads the discussion and helps guide it. It's not a core group that often spends time with each other. So it allows the affiliate owner to be very vulnerable, which I think is rare in our space. There's a lot of pride, and people don't want to expose kind of what they're going through. And so this was designed to help navigate that. These affiliate owners, it's a lonely position, right? And so when you've got your peers that you can talk through personal and professional problems, it's extremely powerful. So we have over 2,000 affiliates that participate in that program. We have the playbook that I mentioned before, which is a consolidation of best practices. I remember our first meeting when we started talking about that, and we brought in 12 affiliate owners from really established gyms, Nicole Christensen from Roots. You've got Craig Howard from Diablo. And you've got Adam Knifer from CrossFit Fort Vancouver, and a number of others. And we just whiteboarded, what are the milestones and bottlenecks in an affiliate that we should educate our affiliates on, basically using what you all went through to help them navigate those challenges. And so we developed this playbook, distributed it to the community. The feedback has been incredibly well. We also have the affiliate partnership network, which has been received exceptionally well. We launched that about a month and a half ago. We sent a survey out, Lauren, I want to say 8 months ago, asking affiliates what they'd like to see. The top feedback was leveraging the brand at a global level to negotiate discounts with brands that will help them operate their business, right? And so we went out and did that. And we got 20 of the most trusted brands in the space, all different segments, and tried to negotiate really favorable terms for our affiliates. That was the number one priority in the discussion, is what can we do to set our affiliates up for success by accessing your products. We have gym software, we have amenities, we've got finance and tax management systems. We've got a number of different things that are on there. And we've got 480. So we launched our product primarily in the US. We've got US brands, V2 in the next month or two. We're currently working on a very powerful offering for our international affiliates. So these are just US numbers. We've got about 1,000 affiliates that have signed up for the affiliate partnership network. 488 have actually ordered something. They've saved on average in total $100,000 by affiliate. That's $200 in 1 month. You annualize that, that's $2,400. That's 90% of their affiliate fee, right? We did all of this and consciously did it without raising the affiliate fee, right? And that's a very, very important point. These things cost money to develop. My team has grown probably 20x since I've been here. But we had work to do to build equity with the community. And I think that we've done that. We will continue to work incredibly hard in doing that. But the products that we've brought to the market, we're super proud about. And again, we don't have all the answers. We know they're not perfect. And so we're open to feedback, and we get feedback consistently. We use it to really make these products, what the community wants. And so that's what's so powerful about CrossFit, love it or hate it, is that we're very vocal people. And so, one of
the things that's also changed. I mean, I've been with HQ now for what are we going on to, for like 5 years, and one of the things that's really changed is that we don't work in a silo. So gym doesn't work on its own, education doesn't work on its own, game doesn't work on its own as it did in the past, and so some of the other things that we brought to the affiliates in order to grow the methodology to grow CrossFit is not just gym based. For example, we're doing affiliate gatherings, and we bring in the best in the business. We bring in some of the best coaches, some of the best athletes, some of the best business minds, and we do webinars. And we're bringing in sports psychologists. We're bringing in people who are specialized in coaching kids or underprivileged people. And it's like it's literally working together to hack the best growth possible for CrossFit. And then the other thing is also like on education. This month, for the very first time, there was a level 1 staffed in Nairobi, and it was packed. We had 22 spots. It sold out 22 spots in Nairobi. There are only 2 gyms in Kenya. In the whole of Kenya, there's only 2. And we sold we filled out a 22 spot level in Nairobi. So will CrossFit grow in Kenya?
So cool. Yeah, so cool.
It will. But that came around because we had boots on the ground in Africa saying, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here. We then spoke to education. With education, said, well, can we staff it? Can we find a bottom? And so we're doing that. And every single month, there are new locations, whether it's in the US or outside the US, there are new locations where we're staffing level 1 seminars in order to help develop CrossFit. Not just level 1s, but also level 2s, because once you've got your box, you obviously want to upskill your coaches. And then the other thing is with sport. We're working with sport. They're licensing events, which aren't semi-final events, but they're going to be carrying the CrossFit name. And we're trying to find the very best community-based events where we can be present, where someone from CrossFit can go and be present and fly the flag and meet and greet people and answer questions about anything, whether it's education, whether it's gym, whether it's sport, and fly the flag for CrossFit. And it's important that we fill those spaces. One of the things Eric said when he came in is we shouldn't expect people to come to us. We have to go to them. We have to meet them where they are. And that was meant to be in terms of language, but also geography. And whether they go to competitions or they want education, whatever it is, we have to go to them. And we've really put money where our mouth is, in that we're actually doing this, we're executing it. And Gary gave me a bit of praise earlier. I'm not used to it, so I actually went red. I blushed. I'm gonna throw it back to him. Gary was an outside hire, and so when he came in, he was replacing someone who'd been running the international team, and then he stepped into the gym org as well. It's like kind of like a by accident, right? Gary? I mean, you literally and we're looking at this guy who just he doesn't take his knee sleeves off, and we're going, okay, does this guy get it?
I hope you wash them.
And so, it's like, it's like change management. You sit back and you observe and you go, wow, is this guy going to do it? And under his leadership, under his watch, the team has grown. I mean, the international team, and I've got to give him thanks, is he's gone and fought for resources for us to go from 6 country managers to 23. For us to go from covering only the largest communities to actually having a total global spread. From in the US being this faceless organism that sends out automated emails to being with district, you've got reps, you've got Paul, you got Jordan, you got Austin, you got all these highly skilled guys that are there and facing the community. And I think, Gary, hats off to you, mate. I haven't said it before, but I'll say it publicly. Well done. You've been in for like.
That's about right. That's about right.
Yeah. That
would happen.
Yeah, even the network was like, "Nah, Daniel's not giving a compliment."
Yeah,
I think he's jumping back on.
Drop the mic there.
Yeah,
so good.
You didn't like my compliments. You cut me off.
It didn't come out. It cut you off before. Yeah.
I can't let Gary get too much of a compliment. Apparently,
I appreciate that. I think
it was for Gary Gates.
What's consistent, Lauren, is that we all truly love CrossFit, and that's been the glue that's kept us all together. And it's been a very tough year, for our affiliate owners and for us, transparently, really trying to win back the hearts and minds of the community, and continue the momentum that all the hardworking men and women had put in to build this to where it is. But we all love CrossFit, which is why we don't get emotional when we hear feedback and people trying to provide ideas that they think will help make it better. We want it all. And so that's been the coolest part of this job, is that, the passion that people wake up with. I often say, I look at my calendar and it's packed and I'm excited to take it on, versus previous jobs. You look at a packed calendar and you're like, here we're ready to get to work and we're putting it in because we know how special this is, and we want CrossFit to do to other people what it's done to us.
And that truly is the coolest thing about CrossFit, is that once you've experienced it, it's like nothing else. And you just want your friends and your family members and really anybody that you meet on the street, hey, like, come into an affiliate. You're going to have so much fun. Like, it doesn't matter if you've never picked up a barbell in your life. There are scaling options and we're going to get you a good workout. Just join this community. And most people don't look back, but trying to get those people into the affiliates, what is the trajectory for growth? Especially as Eric Rose has talked about growing the sport as we're moving forward. What are you guys seeing when it comes to affiliations?
Yeah, so I'll answer that a couple ways. We have a North Star metric of impacting 100 million lives through CrossFit, right? And it's not gonna, it's gonna come through a different number of channels, but that is our target condition, and that's what we get up every single day to try to achieve and inch closer to that milestone. In terms of growth, this is probably going to be hard to believe, but we've grown about 1,400 affiliates since last year. And it's been exceptional. That growth has been led outside of the US, which is even more crazier based on what it's gone on with COVID and the restrictions, the local municipality not supporting financially, small businesses. And that's just been relentless support that our country managers have provided, but also the passion to get involved from these affiliate owners, right? They want to be involved in this, and so they figure out a way to do it. One of the biggest areas of opportunity that we have is speaking to people who don't understand what CrossFit is, right? Our community and the people that live it every single day know how powerful this is, know that there are scaling options, know that if you come in, you have no experience, you'll still have a really good workout and a lot of fun and start to be ingrained and intertwined into the community. But a lot of people outside of that space don't know that, right? So how do we speak to those individuals? And one of the ways that we're going to do that is with the addition of our new chief marketing officer. Aaron Clift comes from Waze and from a consumer facing product and is going to come in, and she's really started to try and immerse herself in the business and really understand it. She joined a CrossFit gym in New York City. But we're doing a kind of deep dive with a brand agency right now, trying to identify opportunities we have within that cohort of people. But 2022 is going to be a really fun year on the content we create and what it tries to reinforce and who we go and attract. And it's all being done in an effort to have people funnel through our affiliate stores. And that's what's really special is like we want to be an unquestioned business partner, as I said earlier, but help them grow their member base with members that are going to stay. And so we've got a number of different strategies to take advantage of that next year.
So in the past year, you say that there's been 1,400 gyms to affiliate. That's how many we've had in 2021?
Yeah, so we started the year right around 9,400. And we currently, we increased about 1,400 gyms, and those are paying affiliates, right? So the total infrastructure is 12,500 with our affiliates local officials, schools, prisons that don't pay. But yeah, so we've grown about 1,400 affiliates over the course of a year, and it's been quite the challenge, but one that we welcome, helping them through that funnel and open their doors.
Is there a target goal for 2022?
There is. We'll keep that tight. Yeah, we'll keep that tight. We'll keep that tight.
Come on, you can't give us a little info.
Yeah, listen, we want to continue to grow. The largest this company has been in that paid cohort is right around 11,715. We plan on beating that, so I'll give you that. This team is committed, but it has to be done the right way, and I say it every single day. There is a magic that is CrossFit, and it's our job to help police and maintain that. We do not want to commoditize this brand. We are not a franchise. We want to really embrace, amplify, and uplift the entrepreneurs that are opening these gyms and creating these experiences for these members. And if we feel there's something that combats that, we will not endorse it. And so this community is as strong as it's ever been. Last year proved it. We're as committed as we've ever been to giving them the resources and helping them open their doors. And we feel very, very confident about next year.
And Gary's spoken to the strategy around growth, but there's also something to be said for the past couple of years. 2 years ago was a very upsetting year. It was a very hard year. We all, for several reasons, and COVID was just one of them. And we saw a number of gyms depart, and that's globally, right? In particular in the US. US was very badly hit, and so was Brazil. But Brazil was coupled also with an economic downturn and 300% inflation. What we've found is that by talking to departed affiliates as much as to our affiliates, there's some really good people out there that de-affiliated, whether through emotion, through financial need, and who are actually maybe hesitant, out of pride or afraid of going back on a decision line. But once the conversation starts, and they realize that the doors are open. We just want people that care and want to help people. As you said, CrossFit is a life-changing thing that happens to us. Once you get hooked in CrossFit, there's no going back, right? And we want people that want to share that. And as soon as they understand that, we found that not only are we getting new small businesses and new boxes coming in, but guys that de-affiliated 2 years ago, whether it was for the tweet, whether it was for COVID, whether whether it was the change in leadership and the sale and the purchase by Eric and the team, whatever it was that was maybe or even it was like a change in the game season from 2018, right? There's this radical change and stuff, and now they've realized that there's a certain amount of stability. There's a visibility around the game season. There's a strategy for affiliates, and we're getting a huge number coming back in now, which is really good. And they're welcome. You know, they were courageous individuals that took CrossFit to heart years ago, and then just had a moment of doubt. You can always do that, right? So that's part of the strategy as well. And we have a strategy for reaching out to these people and having chats with them and seeing where they are. And if they want that opportunity, the opportunity will be there to bring them back into the family and make this community stronger. We're stronger. We're stronger together. We're better together. As simple as that.
We certainly are. Is there a target market or region or a couple of them that y'all are looking at to get more affiliates?
Yeah, and it's funny you asked that question because I've been all over these guys about that. So they're like twitching. Yeah, and I'll let Austin and Daniel speak to that. But we've identified, markets in the different countries, right, and tried to identify population, and affiliate count, and cost of doing business, and all of these different inputs that determine whether or not we feel it's saturated. And so Daniel had mentioned earlier identifying a market in Africa, putting an L1 there and seeing what the interest was, right? And so we've done a lot of work and analysis on where we need to have L1s in order to take advantage of that opportunity. And so that's the city, state, and country kind of strategy, with the exception of our emerging markets, as we refer to them at home office. There are 3 or 4 markets where organic growth, or the growth that CrossFit experience, has not caught on for whatever reason, whether it's the political, regulatory, or economic climate. All are different based on where it's at. And those countries are China, Russia, India, Japan. And so we've got another kind of strategy outside of our core strategy on trying to crack those markets. China, as you know, is an incredibly large country with a lot of people, and when they are really adamant and focused on something, it takes off. And so we want to take advantage of that, and we know what the methodology can do for the community. So China is going to be a huge market for us over the course of the next year. Russia, we're trying to identify some opportunities. India as well. So yeah, there's a number of different markets that we're identifying as focus areas, and we're going to really go hard and try and take advantage of that. But Austin and Daniel can speak to what they have going on in their purviews, because I sure have talked to them about that.
Yeah. And to say North America, for example, we know where we have a lot of gyms. And so I think a fundamental understanding of growth is the way we always look at it is taking care of our existing gyms and strengthening them is something that's really important, where, making sure that the current ecosystem has their foundation, they're strong, they're growing from within. If you go into any epicenter, I'm in Boston, right? And, CrossFit Boston was the 27th affiliate, and, all the affiliates around the area, you have really came from that gym, whether they were a member, they knew someone there. There was this really unique, and you go into all different places around, and that there's an epicenter, and it grew, and that creates a strong community, that creates a healthy ecosystem, and that's how we grow. And it's so that's really one of our main focuses, is to identify areas and deliver resources, and whether that is going into certain areas from a population perspective. Hey, this place is growing and the infrastructure is building, where we know where CrossFit gyms tend to thrive, right? Whether it's the locations, where I just think about a handful of gyms that I've been a part of where there's a DNA, right? We know that, and then how do we give resources? The level one is one, but then there's also business resources we're working on of how do we help individuals start a business, and thought start that way. A lot of these things that are happening organically within our community from peer to peer, we want to be able to facilitate. So that's some of the stuff we're going to do in the States, where the market is pretty mature, and we have gyms that want to open up a second or third location, and how do we support them in doing that? And because a lot of that's already happening too. So how do we, make it easier for them, and also help make the right decisions? Because everyone that's done something, opened up a gym or two will always say, let me tell you what not to do first, right? Like that tends to be the conversation first. So maybe we can, clean up a few of those missteps, which we've all been a part of. And so just really providing resources, and allowing that opportunity where, it's opportunity. And I think that's the biggest thing is when I was 20 years old, and I found CrossFit. It changed my life. And not to get sappy, but like it's all I do. I mean, it's my life, literally. I'm very one dimensional.
He's not joking. I mean, that's. I
mean, and I remember when someone said this to me, and I'll never forget it. And it's something I'll never forget to this day. And they're like, when I told them that I want to coach and train, they're like, well, what are you going to do for a real job? And it's something that I've just never forgotten. And to this point where, coaching in a gym, and I remember people saying like, oh, like, well, I have a real job, doing this over here, doing this over there. And that to me is something that drives me emotionally every day, that, creating these affiliates and these gyms and these opportunities. And I look at the life it allowed me to lead, from being someone that was petrified to teach a medicine ball clean to two people, in a gym in upstate New York, to having the opportunity to, open up a business. And it was, and when you hear open up a business prior to understanding CrossFit, it's almost insurmountable. Like, oh, it's off limits. It takes too much money, it's too much, all this other stuff. And then you start to realize, well, CrossFit gives you a unique opportunity to open up a business with ease, relatively speaking. And that to me is really special. And that to me is how we really handle and harness the growth in the States. So it's a personal connection to me, because I know a lot of people out there, want to be able to, start a business, want to be able to help people, and have their profession align with their passion and purpose. And the affiliate model does that. And, and I think that we have a lot of places, certainly in the United States, where we have a lot of unique places that are growing rapidly because of the trend, how people have left cities, right? Which is, I think, there's a blessing and a curse with that, but there's a lot of places that are exploding, and we know people need fitness. So those are the places where we focus on.
And internationally, very much the same approach as Austin. But even in markets that are, I would say, leaders, communities that are thriving. So, for example, France has gone to 700 affiliates now. In 2013, there were 9. You could say, oh wow, it's great, France has arrived. It hasn't at all. And so we need to look not just now country per country, but not even regionally per regionally, but it's like city per city. And what is the handbrake? Is it that we're not staffing enough seminars there? Is it education? Is it that we can't find the people to come on the courses? So do we need to be talking to secondary education and people that want to find a career in coaching in order to start filling courses? Do we need to give business advice and help and support the young entrepreneurs who want to open up the gyms? What are the handbrakes citywide that we can take off? That's something that we're looking at for growth, which I think is pretty interesting. And a country like France with 700 hasn't arrived. Why? Because it's got 1,400 McDonald's. Any country that can support 1,400 McDonald's can easily support 1,400 small gyms, right? 1,400 boxes with 150 members, 200 members, 250 members. It can easily do that. So we're a long way from, people go, oh yeah, but when you get to market saturation, we're years away from market saturation. So if you can stick 1,400 in France, how many can stick into China, where they've got like 14 or 15 tier 1 cities with over 25 million inhabitants per city? I mean, those are crazy numbers. So the potential for CrossFit is huge, and we've I think we're getting our ducks lined up. I think we're going to get things right, it's just there's no one rule that applies to every single country, because there are, as Gary said earlier, he spoke to it. There are cultural differences, economic differences, demographic differences, and finance as well, right? So we have to go to find out about it, and that's part of our process at the moment of having boots on the ground is being smarter.
And just growing the sport. You guys have a lot of good things at the works. Gary, do you have a future CrossFitter with you as well back there? Oh, I think we lost your audio.
I said, yeah, I said I do. She has better deadlift form than I do. So we have an incident with the dog eating something. So, but all good. Yeah.
Oh no.
Maybe a project has been eaten. So
Ooh, it looks like you gotta go help her out with the school
constantly
project.
varied though, right? So we're all ready to take it on. Yeah, I'm prepared
for anything.
All right.
Well, it's really good to see so many things growing right now. And in the past year and a half, that's really what the CrossFit community has wanted to see is growth, change. And I think that the affiliate program and some of the other things we've touched on are just some of the key, as you were saying, proof in the pudding that we are moving in the right direction. Is there one little detail that you can leave us with that people can expect for 2022?
Yeah, listen, we've got a lot happening. I mean, there's some really powerful products that we're going to bring to the market, whether it be in sport, EDU. Maybe I can share the open work. No, I'm just going. Yeah,
I was like, let me write it down real quick.
Yeah, Dave's alarm went off. I do not know that, and I never will until you guys know it. So,
are you guys going to be the new demo team?
I
think that's what we need to see.
There's a laser dot on your forehead there, Gary.
Yeah, there's but I'll tell you one thing that my team is really focused on is taking this business resourcing and helping with acumen on how to run a business one step further. And so you'll see a product come to market, really double clicks in the milestones on what we feel based on feedback from the community makes an affiliate really successful. And our goal there is to help them ramp up quickly, not make decisions that they have to deal with for the duration of their lease, but decisions that they can make before they even sign one to set themselves up for success. And so what this product we hope will be designed in the capabilities we'll have is creating custom operational plans for your specific environment and business. And so we're really excited about that. And so, yeah, to summarize, it'll take the playbook that we've created and really double click on that and help a gym owner create something that is based on what they're dealing with in their market, in their gym, and allow them to be consistently successful.
And if affiliates are watching this right now and they want to sign up for CAP, how can they do so?
Mr. Maliola?
Yeah, you can, the easiest way is just go to CrossFit.com. And then if you click on the very top of the website, programming, and it'll bring you right there to be able to sign up, so if it's within December, you can, easily sign up and get a peek and activate it before, before things change over in January. So it's nice and easy, which is a smooth process.
And just like any other, product in the space, there's a 30-day trial, right? So if you want to check it out and not be bound to an agreement and having to pay for it, you're more than welcome. And again, this is a product that will continue to evolve, but we're really proud about it. So we're excited for January.
Yep.
Gary, Austin, Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time to join with us. You guys are the dream team. Have a lot of good things going on.
I don't know about that.
Oh man!
Now I just want to see. I want to see the three
of
you throw down with a workout. That's the next thing on the list.
Daniel, I'm not scared of it. Austin is a.
You should be, mate. You should be. We'll
see it at the games, right, Lauren? You're going to go to the games?
Oh yeah. Oh, of
right,
course,
cool.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
so maybe we'll do like a Facebook Live or something when we're there, so that people can throw down.
It's on with all the affiliates. So Austin and the country manager and our staff are going to be running a huge workout, and I'll be flipping burgers and opening the beers. So we're gonna do. You come and work out with Austin, come drink a beer with me, and then we'll all laugh at Gary with his knee sleeves, and that's the perfect team.
These puppies have been through a lot, man. I mean, they've been through a lot.
I just hope that you wash the knee sleeves before
I
we see you in
do
Madison, Gary.
quite frequently. Yeah, quite
Yeah.
frequently.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
very
you
much
guys
for your time.
again.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thanks,
Yeah,
Lauren.
bye.
Thank you.
Awesome time.